Welcome to the Free Kick Podcast. My name is Todd. Well, guys, only 2 more games left after this of the round of 16, and then we go into the round of 8. So, like I've been saying, throughout the episodes, we've had usually somebody returning from last season, and we've usually had somebody coming to the podcast brand new. Well, returning to the podcast from season 1 is Mr. Harry Mumma, and Harry is facing off against Mr. Corey Furlan. How are you guys doing today?
I'm wonderful. How about yourself, my friend?
I'm
doing
great.
Well, Todd.
Yeah, super excited to have you both on, and super excited to have you on, Corey. And I've been telling people, hey, if people don't know how you became a Union fan, can you go ahead and say, hey, this is how I got into the team? Well, I feel like everybody should know who you are, Corey, right? If they've not seen the Sons of Ben movie, he put his hands up like, I don't know. I don't know, Corey. People should know who you are. So for the people out there that don't know who you are, can you just tell them a little bit about yourself, how you got into the Union?
Yeah, absolutely. So this goes back to like 2007, before the Union even existed. I was literally working my job and was literally on the interwebs looking to Google when Philadelphia was going to get a Major League Soccer team, and like I got dumped into this big soccer message board, and I was like, all right, well, let me check this out. Next thing you know, I'm having lunch at McGillen's with people because they had free soup. I was like, let me hang out and get some free soup at lunchtime, and we're talking about like creating this Sons of Ben thing. And the rest is history. I've made some lifelong friends, people that were, at my wedding. I've been at their weddings. I met my wife through like friends that I've met in the Sons of Ben. I've started a career through it. So it's really been pretty influential in my life. That's really it. And like, it's just amazing to see the new faces like over and over and over again, like these new blood coming in, especially with the Union having some success last year. To see the new blood coming in and trying to, continuing what, we started way back then. I still go to games. I'm still there. I'm still having fun doing my thing. But like, I took a step back from the group and just kind of, hanging out with my buddies doing my thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope you don't mind me saying this. What he's talking about is Keystone State Ultras. And I wanted to mention that earlier but I was like, I'll let Corey explain his thing. Like, the one thing my sister and I talk about is like, it's crazy how you guys started the Sha-la-la chant and literally got the whole stadium to do that. And I was like, something so basic, like that's what works. It doesn't have to be something really hard. And yeah, it was so wild when you guys introduced that. I think you guys introduced it down in DC away in 2019. Maybe it was another game. I think it was that. And then you guys brought it to Chester, and it was like, okay, a little bit of sections are doing this, and then the whole stadium was like, oh, okay, this is something.
Yeah, that was kind of one of the coolest experiences, but since like the beginning of everything. Like, I love, like, obviously the Sons of Ben sing and do their thing and are involved 90 minutes into the game, and we in KSU do the same thing. And like, again, the goal ultimately is for all of us to kind of work together to make Chester, like to make Subaru Park an intimidating place for people to play. And that whole thing, like, we have it's a lot easier to kind of come up with like these little kind of one-off kind of things when there's 30 to 50 people involved instead of 2,000. And like, literally it just grew like wildfire and just blew up. And it was literally seeing the whole building. Like, it started and I took off out of the section, was like halfway up the side away from the bridge, like in the middle of like the side stands, like doing it was a surreal moment. So it was really cool. Yeah, it was wild how that blew up, and like, we want to continue like, bringing new stuff to the club, because like it's ours, and like, yep. As everybody, like, whether you're in a supporters group, whether you're not in a supporters group, whether you're just a casual fan or you're coming to your first game, it's ours club as a whole, and like, we want to incorporate as many people as we can to the passion that we have. And kind of grow it, because like, it's just going to take time for it to continue to get better. And that's really what we wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the whole goal is, whether you, like you said, you're in a supporters group, whether you're sitting in family friendly sections, you want to make that place the most intimidating atmosphere for the opposing teams. And you guys, KSU, have done a fantastic job. Sons of Ben are doing their thing, doing a great job too. And yeah, I mean, you see it all over MLS, where there's multiple supporters groups and everything. Mm-hmm. You see that some of them get along, some of them don't. And that's definitely, you're going to have those issues and everything. But like you said, the main thing is, making that place intimidating, and that at the end of the day, you're going to do yours, they're going to do theirs. It should be no competing, because you're there to support the team.
Absolutely.
But Harry, it's been, I think, a little bit over a year since you've been onto the podcast, and I know your friend Mike, Michael Van Sant, had that first game and everything, and you didn't have to face off against Michael like you did last year, I think, in the quarterfinals, something like that. You get Corey this time, but nervous at all? Excited?
Well, as I told you in pre-show, Todd, I'm going to be your first clean sheet. So unless I go all true on the true false and get a random point, this is fun. I got to tell you, just listening to your podcast and the games and hearing everybody's story and that's the best thing is
absolutely.
How everybody got into it. I'm a little different. I played soccer since 7. I'm in my 50s now. I played up in an old man league until I was 50, and when the Sons of Ben started before the Union, I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And then when the Union started, I jumped in, and I've been sharing season tickets with the guy who was best man at my wedding and his brother-in-law. We share, and what's so cool about the Union is there's nothing, it's not price prohibitive. On a random Saturday, if my wife is up at her parents', I could run down, grab a ticket as a Sons of Ben member, jump in the section and jump up and down for 2 hours and just get all my aggression and all my energy out. And Subaru Park is going to be, it's always never been a great place for the other team to play, but I just, you could just feel it in the city. When they won the Supporters Shield, I think that gave them a little bit more credibility in this city. The Fan did a couple hours on the Union. You got Jonathan Tannenwald in the Inquirer talking about the Union. This city it's got a lot of soccer fans. It's becoming a soccer town, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I've been saying the last couple episodes, 2019, 2020, it's just been getting better and better and better. And hopefully, as the Union keep progressing and getting better and better, and, the other Philadelphia teams seem to go down, 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 hopefully more and more fans can become fans of the Union. Like Corey said, there's so much new blood in there, and I'm seeing younger and younger people just come out to Union games, and that's what you love to see. But, unfortunately for you guys, we're not going to talk about, the new Union. We're going to throw it back all the way to 2012. That is going to be a theme for this episode. You guys have the earliest Philadelphia Union season that I'm going to give in the round of 16. So Tyler and Rich, if you guys are listening, that gives you guys 2 choices to start studying for. So choose wisely. But we're going to start off with 5 and 25, which if you guys are new to listening to this podcast, 5 and 25 is where contestants have 25 seconds to answer 5 questions. The clock starts after I read the first question. If a contestant doesn't know the answer, they can say skip, and we can go back to the question if time permits. Each question will be worth 2 points each. Harry, since this is your second time, let's go ahead and start with you first so Corey can get a feel of how the first game works. So are you ready, sir?
No, but I guess we're going to have to do it either way.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Before we start, I just want to give you credit and all the kudos in the world, man. Like, I'm 39 years old, and I try to go play soccer still to this day, and I can't do it. So playing until you're 50, you get all the respect in the world.
Corey, I didn't say I played well.
It don't matter. You get out there and you do it. That's it. I literally I played all growing up and in college and stuff, and then probably 3, 4 years ago, it just no more. I can't do it.
Yeah, my knees gave out. My hip is so bad right now, but. All props to Laurel Springs FC for keeping me around as long as they did.
Respect. Well,
yeah,
go.
Absolutely.
Good luck to you. Sorry for
you too, Corey.
No, you're good, man. You're good. You're good. So we will start with the first question, and the timer goes off as soon as I get done reading the first question to you, Harry. And your first question is, who led the Union in minutes played in 2012?
Brian Carroll.
Who led the Union in assists in 2012?
Michael Forfan.
Who wore number 28 in 2012 for the Union?
Shannon Williams? No, he was 25. Carlos Valdez?
How many Team of the Weeks did Valdez have?
4.
Ooh, and I couldn't even get to that 5th one. So that last one, how many Team of the Week honors did Carlos Valdez have? You're right. He had 4 on the season, so there's 2 points right there. Who wore number 28 in 2012 for the Union? That would be the first year that Ray Gaddis was at the club, so Ray Gaddis is the player right there. The next question I asked you, who led the Union in assists in 2012? Michael Farfan led the Union in assists that season with 5. And the first question I asked you, who led the Union in minutes played? You thought Brian Carroll. I heard it come out of you at first, and then you're like, is it him? And then you're like, I'll just go with Brian Carroll. So it was not Brian Carroll. It was Carlos Valdez. He had 2,923 minutes played. And the last question I was going to ask you, how many red cards did Brian Carroll have in 2012? We didn't have time to get to that. And the answer to that would have been 0. So not bad at all, Harry. You went 4 for 10. You went 2 for 5. You got 4 points. So you're not getting shut out, so you can walk out and be proud of yourself, Harry.
I'm like Costanza. I'm out of here. Leave him wanting more.
Love it.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead. Corey got to see, how we do the first category. And are you ready, Corey?
Sure.
Here we go. The first question for you is, who led the Union in games started in 2012?
Shane Williams.
Who led the Union in goals in 2012?
Jack McInerney.
Who wore number 25?
Shane Williams.
How many Team of the Week honors did Akugo have?
2.
How many red cards did Freddie Adu have in 12?
1.
Wow, and you absolutely crushed that without the time even going off yet. I think it says you still have 5 seconds, so well done, Corey. So that last one, I asked you, how many red cards did Freddie Adu have in 2012? The answer to that was 1. Do you remember?
That's the Red Bull game.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yes, it was.
It was the best game he ever played as a Union player, and he got sent off. I was like, unbelievable.
Absolutely, yeah. They gave him it, I think, for diving, they said, and went off before halftime. So great memory right there, Corey. How many Team of the Week honors did Akugo have? The answer to that would be 3. The next one I asked was, who wore number 25 for the Union in 2012?
Lock.
You're right, Shannon Williams. Harry, you were thinking Shannon Williams when I asked you that very gratis question, and Corey's like, yeah, I know Shannon's number. The next was, who led the Union in goals in 2012? That would be Jack McInerney. He had 8 on the season. And the first question I asked you, who led the Union in games started in 2012?
I think that was right.
It was not. It was Carlos Valdez. He started all 33 games for the Union that season. But not bad, Corey. Damn. 6 points. You went 3 for 5, and the guys is tight already, so you love to see it. But let's go ahead to the next category, which is true/false. And this is, guys, self-explanatory. I'll ask you 5 true or false questions each. Each question will be worth 1 point each. You guys aren't timed. So, Corey, your first question is true or false? The Union had 2 players represent them at the 2012 All-Star Game.
True.
It is true, yeah. You had
Michael Farfan and Carlos Valdez.
There you go. Let's go. You got some bonus points right there. I wish, right? Great memory right there. The next
Wasn't
question.
that game here?
Yeah, it was. It was indeed Chester. Yeah.
Was that the Chelsea game? I was there.
Mm-hmm. It was.
That's the only reason I remember it.
It was. Don Garber picked, I think, Valdez, and I'm trying to think who picked Farfan to get him. Maybe it was Farfan. Yeah, that's right. That is indeed. Yeah, look at that. That memory. It's doing good. The next question, though, true or false? The Union had 5 players who received red cards during the regular season.
False.
It would actually be true. So, like we said, Freddie Adu, Keon Daniels had a red card that season. Jack Mack had a red card. Michael Farfan had a red card. And Shannon Williams also had a red card.
Okay.
Here we go. Question number 3, though. True or false? Michael Farfan had more yellow cards than his brother Gabriel.
True.
It is true. Yeah, Michael had 7 on the season while Gabriel had 5. And Michael, I feel like, played a lot more games than Gabriel did that season. And Gabriel was almost up there compared to Michael. So, yeah, you're right. Question number 3 was correct. Question number 4, though. True or false? The Union had 5 players on their 2012 roster that were born in Colombia.
Oh, boy. False.
It is false. Yeah, it is false. It's a little bit of a tricky one because it's like, was Mondragon still on the team? Nope, the Union got rid of him in January, so he did not play in the 2012 season. But you still had Carlos Valdez, you had Torres, you had Pajoy, and you had...
Pajoy.
Yeah, and you had Jorge Palaza, who I think only played 2 games for the Union that season.
Correct.
So, yeah, you're right.
For Danny Mwanga.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at this. Throwing it back, right? And that memory is still working well for you, Corey. So, the last question there for you, true or false, is Fabinho led all Union defenders in assists in 2012.
You said Fabinho?
I did.
False. I don't think he was on the team.
He was not. Yeah, there we go. Trick questions, and not bad at all, Corey. Like I've been saying throughout this whole episode, that memory is working well for you, and you have went 4 for 5 in that category, which gives you 10 points, and you almost swept that category. Not bad at all, Corey. And now, Harry, the pressure's back on you. You're gonna have to pick up some points here to keep this a close one. Are you ready, Harry?
And I'm crumbling like a house of cards.
Oh, man. But here we go, Harry. Your first question. True or false? The Union finished undefeated in their last 3 games.
True.
That was false. So the last 3 games, the Union, they lost 1-3 to Houston, 1-2 to Sporting Kansas City, and they lost the last game of the season 0-3 to New York Pink Cows. The second question for you, Harry. True or false? The furthest the Union made it in the 2012 U.S. Open Cup was the 4th round.
True.
That would be false. They made it all the way to the semifinals that year where they lost to Sporting Kansas City 2-0.
Todd, I told you I was going all true. This isn't fair.
No, it is not. No, it is not. I know you said that, so I'm sorry, Harry. I should have I should have thrown some more true questions in there, right? But question number 3, true or false? The Union finished the season with more wins at home than losses.
False.
Yeah, that is false. They had 7 wins at home, but they had 8 losses at home. So, yep, that is indeed. They had more losses at home than they did have wins. Next question, though, for you, Harry. True or false? The Union had 1 player on the roster that was born in England.
I say false.
Yeah, it is false. They had no players on the roster in 2012 born in England. And the last one for you, Harry. True or false? The Union had more clean sheets than they had wins.
Oh. I feel like you're baiting me, Todd. I don't believe... You wouldn't ask it if it wasn't true. It's true.
It's false.
God!
So they had 10 wins.
False, you rat thing.
Yeah, you said you want every single question true.
I was going to go all true to get a point, and you went 5 false.
Yeah, I was biting my tongue.
That's cold-blooded.
Wow.
I was biting my tongue. You're like, I'm just going to say true. And I'm like, well, for you, they're all false. So for everybody listening, the Union had 10 wins on the season while they had 8 clean sheets. So it was close. But Harry, I give you every single question was false.
Come on.
Hey, but you picked up points, though. So you said you were going to say true for everything. You said false for 2 of the questions. And so you went 2 for 5, which gives you a total points of 6. So Corey is in the lead with 10 points, while Harry has 6. But before we go into the final category, it's still anybody's ball game. Let's talk about what's official, which is Stuart Findlay has been officially announced as a new Philadelphia Union player. The Union apparently have signed him for $300,000, which is unbelievable for him. It looks like his market value was between $660,000 to $700,000, whatever you look at Transfer Market or wherever you get your information. But there's a guy whose contract was running out. He would have been a free agent in the summertime. He said, hey, look, I want to test myself, get my club that I was playing for in Scotland a little bit of money, and test myself in a new league. So happy to see the Union finally get a left-footed center back in here. You know, the last one we had was Austin Trusty, and needed somebody in here to replace Mark McKenzie. Now, whether Stewart's going to be as good as Mark McKenzie, we'll see. But, you know, it's finally official, and now everybody that was complaining on some social media can finally be done just complaining about this new signing. But, you know, we knew this was going to be a thing the last couple of weeks, Jonathan Tannenwald said. And I got to thinking, you know, everybody's saying, oh, we need starters. But I was thinking about this. I'm like, everybody was complaining last season about, oh, Jim Curtin only has one plan B, and that's bring in El Seno. Well, I feel like we need some more game changers coming off the bench. Can Paxton Aronson be that? Can Corey Burke be that guy? Yeah, but I feel like this club still needs to make some killer changes coming off the bench. You can't rely on El Seno, especially with El Seno being 35, 36 years old. He's just not the same player. So your guys' thoughts on the new signing of Stuart Findlay?
Yeah, so I'll go first. You know, you and I talked pre-show. I think it's a good signing. You know, let's face it. They're going to be playing Champions League. They're going to be playing hopefully a full MLS season. We still don't know what Open Cup is going to be, who they're going to invite. There's going to be a lot of games. You know, right now you really only had 2 center backs with with Colin as a backup. Now you've got three bona fide starters. You know, you can move Jack Elliott up to give El Brujo a rest from time to time. You know, my biggest concern is, you know, really honestly in the midfield, because, you know, Bedoya's 33 now, 34-ish in that area. You know, I don't know if he's going to be able to play 40 games. So you're going to have to give him time. And yeah, you know, are you right? Are the DeVries, are the Paxtons ready to step up and take real minutes? You know, is Orvech ever going to play? You know, there was that joke rumor out there about Orvech going, but that was, you know, that wasn't going to happen. I'm happy with the signing. I'd like one more, but you know, I trust. Look, in Ernst, I trust. He's got my trust until he does something like any of the other four GMs do in the other sports. So, you know, I believe he's got a plan. You know, Curtin showed that he's willing to make changes. Yeah, you're right. They just can't rely on Nelsinho. You know, he's going to be a super sub late in games and not every game. It's not going to be 40 games of Nelsinho.
Absolutely. Corey?
I definitely want to echo what you said about having a left-footed center back. Like, that's a big deal. There's not too many of them out there that, you know, they just don't really, there's not a ton of them. So to get somebody that has played, you know, at a pretty competitive level, like outside, I mean, Scotland's kind of like a weird spot. Like, you have two clubs that are really good, and then kind of everybody else is kind of, I don't know. So, I mean, it's exciting to see, you know, the opportunity to have a left-footed center back. As I said, I think it's exciting, especially with what everybody said about like having depth. You need to have, like last year they had, you know, Mackenzie, Elliott, and Glesnes, and the three of them were kind of like always rotating and everything like that. And that's huge to have, especially like you said. There's probably going to be some fixture congestion with all this stuff going on and things like that. And I mean, hopefully they make a deep run into the Champions League, which would be really cool to see. The tough draw that they got with the first thing. The only thing we have going for us is it doesn't sound like there's going to be any fans in Costa Rica, which is, I think, a big win for us. Second of all, as far as like future signings, like I like Corey Burke as like an option, but I don't know that he's like the guy. Same with Casper. Like, I like Casper as well. I want a guy that is like, and I take a lot of flack for saying this, I want like a Carlos Ruiz type. Like, I want a guy that, like, everybody gave him all this flack for being lazy. Like, and like, I was a number 9 in cotton all the way my whole life. Like, and probably people said the same crap about me, oh, you're lazy. But like, I want a guy that pops up, and when he gets an opportunity, he finishes that opportunity. Like, we need a stone cold killer. Maybe a guy who can dribble a little bit. Like, no knock on any of the guys that we have. Like, I think they're all very, very good. Casper works really hard. He does all the unsung things that like a lot of other people do. But I want, personally, like, I want a killer. It doesn't have to be like some massive, huge signing or anything like that. And I think also, like you said, I think maybe somebody in the 10 spot. I like Fontana, but I really like Fontana as like a kind of like a piece off the bench. He's like, when you need that injection of energy and you need whatever, like we in 140, we call him Meatball. Like, somebody starts screaming, "Hey, get Meatball on the field, dude!" Like, it's like he adds that little like punch, and he showed up this year and scored some really big goals for the club. You know, so like, I think we have to have some faith in the academy with what they just have produced for us and what have shown us in the past. And Ernst, what you said with the whole thing of Ernst, trust in Ernst, like, I mean, what has he missed? I mean, everybody's going to talk about Wooten and whatever, but again, I don't know, you know, he got kind of dinged up, and like he kind of just got stuck behind guys that were performing. You know, and I'm just excited to see what he has to do. He was the first guy to ever come out as a member of the union staff to say, we're here to win. And like, that to me was like, thank God. Like, I'm in.
Yeah.
You know, and like, that really is it.
Yeah, and to echo your point, Corey, I absolutely agree. I mean, we've got guys who can score. I want guys who, you know, are going to, you know, nothing against Santos, Chabilko, and Burke. I love those guys.
Yep.
But you want a guy that when he gets the ball in his foot at, you know, either at the edge of the box or right inside the box, you know that he's either going to test the goalie incredibly or it's going in. And I honestly think the Union are a little gun shy. I mean, you know, they did Wooten. They did, you know, they've tried to get that guy up front, I had somebody else that they went and got, and it didn't work out. And it's all
Jay Simpson.
Jay Simpson, yeah, that's right. Mike Van Sant killed him, and I guarantee you somewhere he's got a Wooten shirt because Wooten was this big signing, and then Van Sant probably killed him. So yeah, but I want to kill her. I mean, because that's when you need a goal, or just to get out a two goal lead early on, and then just goes, and and our guys are streaky. When Jamil goes on, he can't miss. And when he's off, he can't hit. And I don't want streaky. I want somebody is going to be there every game.
I'll tell you, Carlos Ruiz is my favorite player of all time for the Union. Love him. Just because the way he would just get up, he would show up, finish, bang, done. Do his job.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it doesn't need to be a flashy DP signing. Just somebody 10 times, when they get the ball in their foot, they're going to put the ball in the back of the net. The last thing I'll say about this is, have you guys in KSU come up with a Findlay chant yet?
No, not yet. Not yet. It'll happen. We got a Jack Elliott one, we got a Santos one, we got an El Brujo one, we got a Bedoya one, we got I think the Jack Elliott one might be our favorite. I think that was really good. It's not really safe for public consumption at this point in time. People probably would have something to say about it, but it's pretty good.
Awesome. Well, people sitting over that section just hear from Meatball, and I sit right next to you guys, and I've not heard that name, so I will definitely be listening for that.
Meatball.
I would definitely listen for that, and you have the chance. I mean, you guys are doing a fantastic job in there, definitely energizing the place. When sometimes the energy seems like it could be a little bit dim in there. It's not a knock on anybody at all, but so glad to have you guys. Just from the start of the game to the end of the game, you guys are just screaming your lungs out and everything. And some of you guys in your section, they're getting into it with their shirts off and everything, and I'm like, okay, this is. We're in the winter time and 30 degrees.
You can't have too many supporters, supporter groups. I mean, there's no rivalry, there's no love lost. Everybody loves the Union, and whatever makes that place rock and makes the other team nervous, giddy up.
Absolutely. But let's go ahead, guys. We talked a lot about this transfer of Stuart Findlay, what's to come for the Union, hopefully. But let's go ahead and get into the final category, which is name the Union player. So in the final category, contestants will go head-to-head against each other in guessing the Union player I'm describing. I'll give 5 clues, and contestants can buzz in whenever they think they know the players. Contestant will buzz in by saying their own name. If a contestant answers wrong, that will freeze them out until the next question. Each question will be worth 3 points each, except for clue 5, which is when I give you guys the player's first name. That will just give you 1 point instead of 3. Remember, guys, I'm describing players that played for the Union in 2012, but what I might describe might not have happened in 2012. And let's go ahead. Remember, guys, Corey is up 10. Harry has 6. So it's anybody's ball game. And let's go ahead with player number 1.
Quick question before we start. Do I lose points if I'm wrong?
No.
All right. Thank God. Go ahead. Continue. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good, man. Get all the questions out now before we start. So, hint number 1, player number 1, joined the Union from Santa Fe. Hint number 2, scored his only goal for the Union in 2012 against Montreal Impact.
Corey Furlan.
Good.
It's Carlos Valdez.
Yeah, it is. It is indeed Carlos Valdez. The other hints for that was a part of the 2014 World Cup with Colombia. Hint number 4, jersey number 5, then switch to number 2. First name Carlos. Carlos Valdez is that player. That's 3 huge points right there for you, Corey. Don't worry there, Harry. Still 4 more players to guess and, make up for those points. But here we go. Player number 2, hint number 1. The Union's second ever homegrown signing. Hint number 2, played his youth soccer for FC Delco.
Corey.
Good, Corey.
Jimmy McLaughlin.
Wow. It is indeed Jimmy McLaughlin. The other hints for that were hint number 3, after the Union, he signed for FC Cincinnati. Hint number 4, jersey number 20. First name James, but goes by Jimmy. Jimmy McLaughlin is the player. That's back-to-back points right there for you, Corey. And let's go ahead and go to player number 3. Hint number 1 is a midfielder. Hint number 2 has made 166 appearances for the Union. Hint number 3, traded from Columbus to Philadelphia.
Corey.
Good, Corey.
Brian Carroll.
Yeah, it is indeed Brian Carroll. And the other 2 hints for that, hint number 4, jersey number 7. Hint number 5, first name Brian. Brian Carroll is the player. Let's go ahead, guys, to player number 4. Hint number 1 is a midfielder. Hint number 2, scored in his debut against Portland in 2012. Hit number 3 is Panama's all-time
Corey.
caps. Go ahead, Corey.
Gabby Gomez.
Yeah, it is indeed Gabby Gomez. And the other hints for that were hit number 4, Chip the Harrisburg City Islander keeper in a 5-2 Union victory. First name, Gabriel Gomez is the player. And will we see a first ever sweep of Guess the Union player? I don't know. All the pressure's on you, Corey. Here we go. Player number 5, hint number 1, played college soccer at UCLA. Hint number 2, drafted 13th overall by the Union in the 2012 Super Draft. Hint number 3, traded to LA Galaxy from the Union.
Corey.
Go ahead, Corey.
Chandler Hoffman.
It is indeed, and we have for the very first time, somebody swept Guess the Union player. And if my math is correct, I think you've also now just set the all-time points record for a single show with 25 points. And Harry,
I apologize, Todd. I have sullied your podcast with my performance today.
With 6 points. But hey, before we recorded, you said on the show you thought you were going to get swept. You did not. So you got 6 points. But Corey,
I'm still protesting 5 false answers when I said I was going all true.
That's tough, man. That's real tough.
Yeah, it's definitely tough, and it makes it even tougher when Corey's answering on hints number 2 and 3. You don't even get a chance to think about it. I mean, he was just on a roll, but...
honestly, I couldn't have picked Jimmy McLaughlin out of anything.
Yeah, how'd you pull that out?
He's a friend of mine.
Oh, well, there you go.
I talked to him probably a couple weeks. I talk to him every once in a while. I've stayed in touch with him since he's left town, and him and Shane are my 2 buddies, so...
Well, there you go. It's a good thing you got that one correct, right? So,
yeah, he would have killed me.
Absolutely. But Harry, unfortunately, you didn't get to go as far as you went season 1. But I'm super excited that I had you come back on, and it's always a blast getting to talk to you. And before I let you guys go, Harry, I guess we'll start with you first. Can you let people know where to find you on social media?
Yeah. So my Twitter feed is basically all soccer, but it's HMumma3. And that's about it. I'm not on Facebook or anything like that, but
yeah, Twitter. That's where everybody say it for the Union fandom. Everybody's on Twitter. But Corey, if people aren't following you, where can they follow you?
Absolutely. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff as the same tag, SOB_Corey. It's been the same for a long time. And Facebook, it's Corey Furlan. You can find me there. So, Twitter's my favorite, though, by hands down. It's the best one.
Absolutely, it is. And it's where the podcast has the most followers on there, and that's where I'm the most active. But if you guys aren't following the podcast on any of the social media platforms, follow at Free Kick Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Wherever you get your podcast, check out The Free Kick Todd Lewis. Check out the website, thefreekick.com. And Harry, I'd love to have you on during the season, talk about a Union game or something. Corey, but you're going on to the round of 8, and I've got to imagine with that performance like that, you've now taken the throne as probably the favorite. Hopefully the pressure now is really on you, but you came out firing as soon as we started this, and you ended on such a positive note. Hopefully you don't draw Michael. That guy is super duper smart and everything. Hopefully, if you guys advance, that would be a great final game. Not going to match fix. This isn't FIFA, but just a pleasure to have both of you guys on. Get to finally have you on this podcast, Corey. And until then, my name is Todd, and this is the Free Kick Podcast.